These videos are going to be a bit shorter. We're going to be doing split the acts in half, so I'll do half an act, publish the video, half an act, publish the video. The tree should be looking like this if you've been following the guide. If not, that's great, thanks for watching anyway. You can see just a complete run through of a character in Path of Exile. We'll put in the Necromancer, do a quick recap. We've taken both of these nodes, Lord of the Dead and Death Attunement. These give us extra zombies, extra skeletons, and this one gives us an extra Spectra, so we can have 3 Spectras up at the moment. We're heading down here to go to Grave Pact. This is the one that gives us the chance to do double damage. We've just been able to equip on 2 of our Phalanx. We only have 2 Phalanx at the moment. And our skeletons, raised zombie, we've managed to get the multi-strike. We've got added lightning damage, minion damage, and the same on the skeletons as well. Summon skeletons with the multi-strike. So these hit twice now. So we'll continue with this. Act 5, and we go to the slave pens. The slave pens, you hug the side of the map going up. I was thinking something was wrong, my zombies have disappeared. I'm going to get my zombies back up. The Spectres died in Act 4 somewhere, but this is Act 5 and I'll be able to get the slave drivers, so I haven't been back to Act 2 to get the defensive Spectres. They're not needed. We're going to go for the slave drivers, and we're going to link them with minion life and added lightning damage, and that will carry us through till Act 8 till we can get our solar guards. There's loads of different Spectres you can use. I like solar guards because they have a really good clear speed, even on, because this is solo self-found. Even on a Falling, they have a really good clear speed. They don't have any boss damage, but it doesn't matter because we keep the skeletons and we keep the zombies for the boss damage. On solo self-found, if you're going defensive like I am, it's quite a long transition. Unless we find a Queen's Decree or a Queen's Escape, which makes your character very squishy, but you get a lot of DPS. But I'm building as a new player so that you don't die in the game and you have a good experience of the game, rather than make a scuffed character that will get you killed. There's nothing worse than dying. See if you can get a 15 from here. No, we can't. So just press the C button, have a look at your defences. Your lowest defence is the lightning. So we really want to get a lightning and fire, lightning and cold, sorry. Cold and lightning, let's take a look. That's not a bad ring, that. That is not a bad ring for where we're at. So you have this page open and you just change your rings and just see if we get an improvement in any stats. Yeah, it's actually made things worse, that. Gotta remember we're still using our purity of elements. So once we hit into maps, we're still nearly at max capped. Just the lightning excuse me, my cold. Just this lightning resistance, which is a bit problematic for us. So we're going to look for slave drivers now. And these are currently linked with minion life support, raise the Spectre, and added lightning damage. I'm going to put my volley in there so I can start leveling my greater volley for when we hit Act 8. And the spell echo support as well. So these, even on a 3 link, they're quite good, aren't they? I love playing Necromancer. I absolutely love it. So remember, you walk through a door, and if you've ever seen the film called The Shining, it's like that. You walk through the door, you pop your convocation, they all come towards you, saying, "Hello, it's Johnny!" That was a really bad impression of, I'll say no more. Can't remember his name, it's called Nicholson. Something Nicholson.
Oops, clumsy me.
If you know his name, type it in the comments below. So in here, it's the same as always, you find a side and you just hook the side all the way around and it'll eventually take you to the quests. On here we're looking for, at the very bottom of the screen, there'll be a yellow exclamation mark. That's a quest item to get a skill point. We keep all of that and hand it back in after we get the next waypoint. The character now is playing a lot better. It feels a lot nicer, a lot smoother, a lot more DPS, faster clear speed. I'm actually feeling like a true Necromancer now.
When I'm ready, and not before.
My builds are just walkthroughs of the games, how to get the maps, how to kill all the bosses, 2 maps, and then from there, with the Necromancer, there's so many different classes and builds you can build off a Necromancer. If you've got my initial tree, That's the pure building blocks for Necromancer. Because everything what I've taken on my tree, you will take on all other builds as well for Necromancer. And then you can specialise into if you want to be a ranged Necromancer, or you want to just be zombies, pure skeletons. This is a jack of all trades Necromancer, so he's got zombies, he's got his skeletons, he'll have Val skeletons eventually as well, and he'll have 4, well, by the time the guide's finished he'll have 3 spectres. It's a very forgiving play style as well. Because you've got 2 aggressive minion types, which is the skeleton and the just getting lost here. With Totem I've got myself lost. The zombies are, I wouldn't say they're passive, but they're more likely to be around you, so they absorb a lot of the damage incoming. Your skeletons don't care about you, they're just all fighting, they just want to fight. And the summoners, at the moment, their intelligence is more aggressive than the zombies, but not quite as aggressive as the skeletons. So we have to find an item called Feeding Frenzy, a gem, and equip that. It's not needed till later on in the game though. As you can see, even with just a 3 link on the spectres, they're doing the majority of the damage now. On the character I just lost in hardcore, with 0 investment, 3-4 links, that's all the character had. I was up to tier 7 maps before he died.
When I'm ready, and not before.
So the play style as a Necromancer is run up to the mobs, press your Q button, that's a convocation, that pulls all of your minions towards you, and you just keep an eye out that you have all your skeletons at 8 at all times, and you just have a lot of fun running through the maps. Obviously this is very early in the game, so you're not seeing the potential of the Necromancer. Well, you're seeing the potential of the Necromancer, I should say, but you're not seeing the true speed of it. It's incredibly fast mapper, incredibly fast. Again, this area is the same as other areas, so just follow the direction in a clockwise direction. Hug the wall in a clockwise direction.
When I'm ready and not before.
So in this game, if ever you get lost, hold a ball and just follow the ball all the way in that direction, and eventually it will lead you to the next objective in the game, like the next exit, like this is done here to the Chambers of Innocence. Now, once you get to the Chambers of Innocence, you have a few options open, because if you're going to be playing solo self SFF, solo self found, you check your level, it's a level 43 area, you probably want to farm this area to level 45. I'm on the level, I'm level 42, which is here, level 42. Good band, I'm level 42, remember that from the 80s? But as I'm playing this is for a brand new player, how they would play, I would recommend farming this to level 48 and then go and do your lab. So that's what we're going to do, we're going to farm this to level 48 and then I'm going to go and do my lab. And yeah, you just follow the wall all the way around, stay back a little bit because you're going to be very squishy till you've done a few of these levels, because you need to get your minions to get a bit more power. Minions get all of their power from gem level. So until then, you're going to be a bit squishy, so just be cautious when you're in here. It is very risky. Only if you're playing hardcore. If you're not playing hardcore, no. You can die as many times as you want, there's no penalty for death. For example, this jeweler's box here, if I was in hardcore I would identify it because I wouldn't want to die, but I'm in softcore, so just open it, let's take the risk on it. Some epic drops there. So you run up to packs, you press your convocation and then you drop back a bit while your minions kill the packs. And just make sure that you've always got 8 skeletons up at a time and you'll be alright. Really fun game. The lightning or the lighting in the game looks amazing. I know we play in a darkened room when I play this, but I have to have a light on for the camera. It looks amazing once you've got the lights out. So we're saving the points to go for Grave Pact, which is a massive damage boost. I believe it's 5 points we need to save to get there. When I do the leveling, instead of spending each individual point at a time so you don't see a notice in DPS output, I save the points up and then do it in one go, just so that you can see the difference between, that's why I'm heading for this node and that's why I'm going for that node. So I believe that was 2 levels we've had in here so far. We came in at 42. No, it's just 1 level, sorry. My mistake. Keep leveling your gems. If you don't level a gem, it doesn't get any more XP, which is a bit self-explanatory, but sometimes you forget to level them and then they're falling behind the other gems. Nice, that's my last 4 link there. See, we're slightly too low a level in here. Well, I wouldn't say we're too low of a level, we're just on the right level, but it is. I have to think when I'm in here, I want to dodge and pull back. Let the minions do the work, I can't just race through it. Like I will be able to in about 1 or 2 levels. Minions get all of their damage from gem level.
Much clatter.
Depending on how many of these portals you have, it's sometimes more beneficial just to exit the character select and then click play again. It just saves the portals because you don't get many portals scrolls. You don't get enough portal scrolls, I should say, as you're leveling. These are all thousands. Let's fingers crossed I got some speed on these boots. Cold resistance. I'll put them in my stash for later.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll take that one. It's always good to have the smoke screen.
We do.
These are all the gems I need for the Spectres when I eventually find this 6th link. And I will be putting them into here to start them leveling. I'm going to put that on my reserve, and I can start leveling minion damage support. No, I don't need that one because I've already got that one. Control destruction. And minion damage support. I'm sure I've got minion damage support in here though. Minion life. Okay. Oh, what an idiot I've been. I forgot to get the waypoint for the chamber, so I'm going to have to run through the Templar Court again. It's noob mistake number 7 of these videos.
When I'm ready and not before.
It's roughly the same XP in the Templar Court anyway as Chambers of Innocence. Oh, something's doing corpse explode there. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Let's get away from that. Why can't I go through that door? I've got horrible coffee today, guys. I've got some kind of coffee whitener in my coffee because I ran out of milk, and I'm going to have to go to the shop and get some milk soon. It's wet, that's about all that is, that coffee. I need to make a new area here, so you control click and click on new. All the monsters will respawn like a brand new area.
When I'm ready and not before.
So if anyone has any suggestions of what class they would like to see next, walk through the game from Act 1 to Act 10. Played in solo self-found as if you're in hardcore. Just make a comment below, I'm sure I can quickly do a quick guide for you. Quick walkthrough. Ideally I want to get these walkthroughs down to under a couple of hours. So I need to get used to using some video editing software. At the moment I just post them all raw to YouTube. But I cut them down into 20-minute sections, you know, like this act. Once I take down this boss coming up at the end of this section. I think it's Sin, isn't it? Who will fight, yeah? Once I take him down, I'll split the video and I'll come back and show the Kitava fight. And explain why you need to overcap your resistance before you do the Kitava fight. So basically, in this game, certain bosses will bring your resistance down. The Act 5 boss, the final Act 5 boss, is called Kitava. And when you defeat Kitava, it gives you a penalty to your resistances. So before we fight Kitava, ideally we want our resistances to be all capped at 105, and then when the cap kicks in, we've still got good resistances for the next acts as we progress. If you haven't got your resistances capped, which a lot of new players don't know about, that's when you start getting into trouble, when you hit Act 6 and you start dying all the time. And a lot of players would actually leave the game at that point, just think the game's too hard. But it's not, you just have to use your crafting bench to get better resistance. And pick up stuff on the ground. Now, people who've been playing for a long time, they're not worried about that because they know the bosses, they know the mechanics, and they can just stick through the maps and then get all the way negative resistance. But a new player can't, because they're not going to have a good experience if they keep dying. So that felt a lot better than the last time because of them 2 levels we've got on our minions. We're just blasting through the mobs now. And again we just exit and come back in. Okay, I'm going to go AFK for 1 second. Maybe not. Yes, I am. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Right, now we've got 6 points, so hopefully we can get Grave Pact now. I think we have enough points to get that. This is one of the strongest nodes for the Necromancer, in my opinion. I'm no expert on games, I just play a lot of them. So on here we get all these lovely boosts. 10% more damage, accuracy, more damage 12%, more damage 12%. So we've got 34% more accuracy up to here, damage I should say. Then another 15. Then we get more attack speed. And we have a 4% to do double damage. That's double damage, boys. Just watch this next Chambers of Innocent. Hold on, let's get all these. What's your clear speed now?
When I'm ready and not before.
There you go, you made it into those beasts now. Pure beasts, like this, like destroy the screen. And, you know, we're so self-found, we've got none of the starter gear what all the other guys say. They go, oh, get a tabular rasher, get the woolen boots of speed, use this, use that. You don't need any of it. It's just amazing. You don't need any of it, you just need to follow a guide to somebody who tells you just to get your resistance fixed and how easy it is. You just use that crafting bench and pick up all the blues and the yellows on your way. And you know, if you haven't got the model capped out, you use the little aura, the elemental buff, resistance buff. I'm trying to think of its name. I need for it to be safe to do it. Let's have a look. Purity of Elements. That's what you need. You use your Purity of Elements until you do your third lab, and then you get 30 plus all resistance anyway, so that you can remove the Purity of Elements then. Or you can keep it on if you want that extra bit of protection when you're in tougher maps, but generally the Necromancer is one of the easiest classes to res cap on Solar Cell found on a budget of 0. So yes, the build as we were leveling did feel a bit slow and clunky. If you remember back on when we were doing the Frostbolt and Glacial Cascade, but the main thing is we weren't dying, and we were learning, we were picking up items. Now this is just a powerhouse of a machine now. It's just a pure killing machine to go and earn us lots of currency to upgrade our gear and to help us get the higher levels. Honestly, it's just amazing now. I'd like to get Feeding Frenzy on my zombies so they're a little bit more aggressive. Our life's nice now, we're nearly at 1200 life, which is exactly where we want to be for the Kitava fight. We don't want to be going into that fight with anything less than 1200 really. Now, at this point for me in normal gameplay is where I would head on to kill the Chambers of Innocence Sin. But we're doing this as a new player, so I'm level 46. I said I would go to 48, so let's do that. 48 in my opinion is the real sweet spot where you're not going to worry about dying, because as I say, I mean, it's solo self-found. You can die as many times as you want, but it's just going to feel awful if you keep dying. So I like to go on the side of caution. And also, I mean, if you're following this guy because you're going to be going this particular build and Necromancer in the upcoming league, and you're going to go solo self-found, if you die, don't get disheartened, you know, because I've played a lot of hours in the game, in hardcore and solo self-found and trade league, and I don't die very often, but that's because I've played many hours and I'm used to what the buttons do, and you build up them reflexes and stuff like that, you know. Whereas I'll maybe die once in every, I don't know, 300 hours or something. You might die once in every 30 hours. Don't let it worry you. No shame in dying. Nobody sees your stats in this game. It's not like you've got a it's not like there's a league there where people can see your stats and say, oh, that character's died 50 times to get the maps. Yeah, you might die 50 times to get the maps, but when you get in maps, you've learned how a class works, and every death you get, you're learning something about the game. It's great. Never worry about dying. At this point, you want to be on the outlook for flasks. You want to get a nice beefy life flask, and you want to put anti-bleed on it. It's a level 43 area, we're level 47, so we're 4 levels above where we should be. So any build now with this gap in gem level and area level would feel really powerful now. Any build at all, any build. So on all your build, whether you're going to go Necromancer or you're going to decide to go Flame Totems, I can't think off the top of my head. Ice Bolts. There's so many builds you can do. If your gem level's 5 levels above the area that you're at, you're going to feel like, you know, like a superhero, really strong. But I'll continue till 48. This is where I would recommend as a new player, you leveled in this area till level 48 and then continue to the boss. The boss is really, I wouldn't say it's a hard boss, but there is a possibility that you may die to this boss. Yeah, the boss coming up has a few phases, and one of the phases he spits out a load of balls of fire, and they stun you, and they just sort of shotgun on you. So it's one which you can choose out by teleporting to town, or you just dodge with the flame dash. But the first time you get into that fight, it's quite scary, and you probably will die a couple of times. I suppose it's like all the bosses in this game, they're all scary when you first encounter them. And that's why some people, when they get a game, they'll not look at YouTube for guides, they'll not look at playthroughs, like walkthroughs, what I'm doing here. They'll just go straight in blind and they'll learn it for themselves. Like what we had to do as the game was coming out. I mean, I've been playing out since this game since it was in beta. And lots of time I ask people within my guild to have a look at my builds because I'm struggling on a boss. Not so much now though, but at the very beginning, they made the game a little bit easier now. But I mean, it's by no means an easy game. It's nothing like Diablo 3 where you're going to get an end game. The average player is not going to get an end game within a week, within 2 weeks, within 3 weeks in this Path of Exile. The pro players, not me, I am no way, any shape, way or form a pro player. I just play a lot. They work in a team and they can be at end game maps by about day 2. But they're unusual than people, you know. Yeah, if you take, for example, the guys who play in the guild that I belong to, they're normally in the high 80s by day 3, sort of mid-yellow maps by day 3. And then the grind really begins. And the fun really begins. Once you get in the red maps, the fun's amazing. Everything ramps up, your drops ramp up, the damage ramps up, it's really good. Anyway, I'm close enough to do this. I'm not quite at 40 yet, but I can't... Yeah, this boss has many phases. There's one dangerous phase, which is where he shoots his balls out, and the rest, they're not dangerous. This laser beam, you just gotta try to get behind him, dodge it. There's his fireballs, that big circle you do not want to stand in, it's instant death. I actually think this is one of the nicest fights in the game. It's horrible when it's on maps and you have to have this boss, you just wouldn't do this, but as a test for your character, I think it's a really good boss. It's very challenging the first few times you do him. There's them fireballs, you have to dodge them. You want to get behind him when he does that and keep out of that. you can go into these shields, the big circles around the enemies, and just press the Q button, your convocation, and bring your minions right under his bubble. So you try to get behind him, he's dead. I was quite intense, I enjoyed the music.
You and only you, I shall save.
So we talk to Sin. Then we just have to make our way back through.
What in damnation have you done?
Whoa! Something was hitting us hard there. Sorry I'm not talking much in here, I'm just having to concentrate, it's quite hard.
When I'm ready and not before.
So from here we have to find the next waypoint of the square. We are not quite tanky enough to just run it. We have to pay attention. Okay, and that's where I'm going to end this video. This is part 1 of Act 5 in Path of Exile. I'll be back with part 2 in about 10 minutes.